Manchester United have been linked with some huge names before, but this one feels different. This one feels like the kind of story designed to make the entire football world stop scrolling. According to reports coming out of Spain, United have put an offer on the table worth around 120 million euros, roughly 104 million pounds for Real Madrid superstar Jude Bellingham, with suggestions that number could even rise to 150 million euros if negotiations somehow move forward. And just hearing those numbers attached to Manchester United in 2026 tells you exactly what kind of message INEOS may be trying to send. Because this isn't just about signing a midfielder, this is about status, this is about power, this is about Manchester United trying to remind the football world that they still belong at the very top table, still capable of chasing the biggest stars on the planet, and still willing to dream on the grandest scale possible. Now, before United fans get carried away and start imagining Jude Bellingham walking out at Old Trafford in a red shirt next to Kobbie, Mainoo, let's be honest from the start, this deal still looks incredibly unlikely. Recent reporting around United's actual midfield shortlist has focused more on names like Sandro Tonali, Adam Wharton, Carlos Baleba, Elliot Anderson and Alex Scott, while Casemiro's exit has been widely reported and confirmed. At the same time, Michael Carrick's strong run has pushed United into a real Champions League chase, which at least gives the club a stronger platform heading into the summer. And that is the key point here. Manchester United are no longer trying to sell only nostalgia. They may soon be able to sell Champions League football, a clear project, and a team that is finally starting to look like it has direction again. Under Michael Carrick, United have produced a strong run of results, with club media highlighting a record level points return in his opening 9 Premier League matches, and ESPN reporting 6 wins in 8 league games during the surge up the table. That changes the market perception of the club, even if it doesn't suddenly make a Bellingham deal easy. But let's talk about the actual headline. Jude Bellingham is not just any midfielder. He is one of the defining players of his generation. He has star power, leadership, intensity, technical quality, athleticism, personality, and all of it. He's the sort of player you build a team around, the sort of player you market a new era around, the sort of player who doesn't just improve the squad, but completely transforms the way the club is seen from the outside. And that's why the report frames this as a move driven by an obsession inside the club to regain lost prestige. Honestly, that line tells you everything. INEOS know United need more than good signings. They need statement signings. They need players who instantly make rivals nervous and fans believe again. They need names that restore fear, restore aura, restore identity. From that angle, you can understand why Bellingham would be seen as the ultimate dream target. Put Jude Bellingham in a Manchester United midfield with Kobbie, Mainoo, and suddenly the whole future of the team looks different. Suddenly United are not just plugging holes. Suddenly they are building a midfield that could dominate games physically, technically and mentally for years. Mainoo gives you composure, intelligence and control. Bellingham gives you power, drive, goals and elite level presence. Together on paper it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like the kind of partnership every United fan would immediately call world class before it has even played a game. And let's be real, the marketing side of that would be enormous too. One of England's brightest young stars joining another at the biggest club in the country, that would absolutely explode. But this is where reality hits. Real Madrid do not usually let players like Jude Bellingham go unless the player pushes for it, the relationship breaks down badly, or the financial situation becomes impossible to ignore. And none of that appears to be firmly established right now. The report itself admits that sources close to Madrid see it as unlikely that Bellingham leaves the Santiago Bernabeu in the short term. So while the offer makes for a sensational headline, the actual path to getting this over the line still looks extremely narrow. That does not mean the story should be dismissed completely though. Sometimes these so-called impossible stories tell you less about the player being signed and more about the direction of the buying club. If Manchester United are genuinely willing to put 120 120 million euros to 150 million euros on the table for a central midfielder. That tells us INEOS are preparing for a huge summer. It tells us they believe the team is close enough to something serious that 1 or 2 major additions could change everything. And it tells us they are thinking in terms of star quality as well as tactical fit. The midfield rebuild itself is not in doubt. That much looks real. Casemiro's departure has been reported by ESPN, with the club said to have confirmed he will leave when his contract expires at the end of the season. Meanwhile, fresh transfer reporting has linked United with multiple midfield options, showing that this area is going to be a major focus once the window opens. Whether that becomes Bellingham, Tonali, Wharton, Baleba or somebody else, the message is the same. United know they cannot stand still in midfield, and that's what makes the Bellingham story so fascinating, because as wild as it sounds, it actually fits the emotional logic of where Manchester United are right now. This is a club trying to convince the world that the banter era is ending, a club trying to prove they can still attract elite level talent, a club trying to turn progress into momentum. If you are serious about that, then of course you at least dream about players like Jude Bellingham. Now let's bring Bruno Fernandes into this, because his future adds another layer to the whole conversation. Reports and pundit talk continue to circle around whether Bruno could receive major offers again, including from Saudi Arabia, but the more important point is what Bruno means to this current United side. With Carrick in charge, the importance of Fernandes has become even more obvious. He remains the creative heartbeat, the emotional engine, and one of the few players in the squad who consistently looks capable of deciding huge matches. So if United are talking about a prestige rebuild, Bruno staying matters just as much as any marquee arrival, because you do not regain status by selling your best leaders while hoping new stars fix everything. You regain status by keeping your pillars and adding more elite quality around them. Imagine a midfield and attacking structure where Bruno Fernandes stays as the conductor, Mainoo develops into the metronome, and Bellingham arrives as the powerhouse. That is the kind of idea that would have fans losing their minds. But again, there is a difference between a dream and a realistic summer strategy, and this is where fans will probably split into 2 camps. One side will say absolutely go for it, spend huge, take the risk, sign a genuine superstar and change the culture overnight. The other side will argue that £104 million to £130 million could be spread across 2 or 3 key positions instead, giving United a more balanced squad overall. Honestly, both arguments make sense, because let's not forget, United still have needs beyond midfield. Depth control, athleticism, possibly another defensive profile, maybe attacking reinforcement depending on departures. There are still holes in the squad. So the question becomes, is one Jude Bellingham worth more than 2 or 3 top-level signings elsewhere? That is a brutal call for any sporting structure to make. There's also the issue of whether Bellingham himself would even see United as the right step. Real Madrid is one of the few clubs in world football that almost no player wants to leave early unless something major changes. They compete for every top trophy, they are full of elite talent, and they offer the glamour and expectation that superstars crave. So if Manchester United are really serious here, they would not only have to convince Madrid financially, they would have to convince Bellingham emotionally and competitively that Old Trafford is the place to build his future. That is a massive ask. Still, even if the deal never happens, there is something oddly encouraging for United fans in seeing the club linked to this level of ambition. For too long, transfer talk around United has felt chaotic, scattered or desperate. This, by contrast, feels like a power play, maybe unrealistic, maybe overblown, maybe even impossible, but still a power play. And after years of drift, that is exactly the kind of energy INEOS probably want attached to the club again. It also sends a message to the dressing room: nobody is safe. Nobody can get comfortable. If Manchester United are genuinely trying to sign players of Jude Bellingham's calibre, then the standard inside the squad is changing. Places are going to be under pressure, reputations are going to be tested, and that in itself can raise the level. So where do I land on it? Right now, I'd say this is a blockbuster rumour that captures the ambition of what INEOS want Manchester United to become, but the chances of actually prizing Jude Bellingham away from Real Madrid still feel very slim. The money being talked about is enormous. The prestige angle is obvious, and the football logic from United's side makes sense. But Real Madrid are Real Madrid, and they usually do not sell their crown jewels unless there is a very good reason. Even so, this is the kind of story that keeps the summer window electric, because even if Bellingham doesn't arrive, the fact United are being framed as willing to move at this level suggests the rebuild is going to be aggressive. Casemiro is heading out. Midfield reinforcements are clearly being lined up. Carrick has injected life into the team, and INEOS appear ready to swing big. Maybe not Jude Bellingham big in the end, but big. And if you are a Manchester United fan, that is the real takeaway. This summer looks like it could define the next era of the club. The target list is changing, the standards are rising, and the language around the project is no longer just survival. It is prestige, it is statement, it is restoration. Now imagine if the first statement of all was Jude Bellingham. That would not just be a transfer, that would be a football earthquake.